gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesu. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostri. Amen.
For this attack, our air supremacy is complete. Not even the Luftwaffe can challenge us over Sicily, and the Italians only want peace. We land in the early hours of July the 10th. The British 1st Airborne Division and the American 82nd, the American 7th Army, and the British 8th. The war loads of over 2,000 ships are put safely ashore within a few miles of the enemy's airfields. The liberation of Europe has begun.
We all thought this landing was going to be a shaky-do, so we was very happy it all went off nice and cosy. Of course, they reckon Jerry's going to have a go at it. Meanwhile, we're here, and the locals seem to love us.
It takes the Allied command a month to drive the German army out of the island. In that month, we plan our attack on the Italian mainland with air cover from the newly won Sicilian landing grounds. On September the 3rd, the British 8th Army will cross the Straits of Messina to the toe of Italy and advance north. On September the 9th, the US 5th Army will land at Salerno. Air cover will be given by the Tactical Air Force and sea fires of the Fleet Air Arm. Salerno.
This is kind of different from the last landing. If you ask me, it's too darn hot. The Krauts are throwing everything at us, including some new radio-controlled glider bomb. It's enough to make you cry.
The sappers build airstrips for us on the beachhead. We're within range of the enemy's guns, but the carriers hang on until we're operational. Our fighters give really close support using these airstrips. On September the 14th, they fly 700 sorties in one day.
September the 15th, General Alexander and Air Marshal Cunningham report, our hold is firm. German resistance at Salerno breaks. Allied forces move on over the brown dust and between the grey-green olives into central Italy. The autumn sky is almost empty of enemy planes. Our armies drive north past Naples to the line of the river Sangro, the Gustav line. Near Naples lie the airfields of Foggia. the main landing grounds in southern Italy. With these in our hands, we can base not only tactical air forces, but strategic bombers on the European mainland.
A nice little game of pontoon, a couple of cups of chow, and you start feeling a bit better. But it's a very funny thing in the army. Whenever you take your boots off, there's holes in your socks.
At Naples, we have our first port in Europe, and supplies pile in for the fighting that lies ahead. Supplies for the ground and air forces in the field, and for the heavy bomber squadrons assembling at Foggia. Supplies for the people of the liberated, ruined, half-starving towns. Supplies for the citizens of Naples. Disease and the disruption of life. Here is our first taste of the aftermath of fascism. And here begins the patching up of a world that has died. The Germans have added their own demolitions to our bombing. Even the generators and the power stations have to be replaced before the life of Naples can start again.
From our new base at Naples, General Mark Clark flies north to the Fifth Army front up in the mountains. Flying will be about the only way of moving around in this theater of war when winter starts.
So long as there's weather for flying, we fly. The armies below are digging in for a winter slogging match. And up here, we've got a slogging match of our own.
Behind the Gustav line, the enemy's supply routes run northwards to the Alps. The mountains shield them from our ground forces, but they're open to the sky. Before the year ends, we must win complete control of the air over Italy and use it to isolate the German army in the field. The Luftwaffe opposes us with failing strength as the weight of our offensive grows. Day after day, our medium bombers attack the great rail centers of north and central Italy. Bolzano, Pisa, Bologna, Mestre, Civitavecchia. These are our targets. German fighters sent up against our bombers are destroyed in large numbers by the Spitfire squadrons. In Africa, the Desert Air Force gave us supremacy over the battlefield. In Italy, they give it us again.
While all this is happening around the battle zone, United States fortresses and liberators fly missions out around Europe. From our Foggia bases, we can hit targets in the Balkans, Austria, and Germany. All our raids are made in full daylight, with our fighters right along with us. The whole trip is a long, hard fight right into the target. And when that's over, we have to shoot our way back.
As dusk falls, the night flights of RAF Wellingtons begin. For them, the darkened cities of Lombardy, the Adriatic, the Danube Valley will burst into light and flame, and their fires will burn through the winter darkness. Dawn on the beaches of Anzio, January the 22nd, 1944. 50,000 Allied troops land behind the Gustav Line within 40 miles of Rome. With full air cover, they are to outflank the German defenses and march into the Eternal City. Another year of fighting has begun.
They say Jerry's been told to fight for every yard. Well, he's doing that all right, just to get us off this nice, dangerous beachhead.
The Wehrmacht nearly succeeds, though with scarcely any air cover. Nearly, but not quite. Supported by bombardment from air and sea, the beachhead holds. But all roads don't lead to Rome. The Germans still hold the Gustav Line across the mountains from Ortona on the east coast to the river Garliani in the west. In the center, the great hill of Cassino. Troops from America and the British Commonwealth have tried in vain to reduce Cassino. A long, bitter battle across scarred hillsides against a garrison of German paratroopers. February has dragged on into March, and still the Germans hold Cassino. Here on the spurs of the Apennines is the cruelest of battlefields, a comfortless waste of rubble and rock. But although the Germans hold the hill, we control the sky above it. And from the sky we can send supplies and support to our attacking troops. While our army clings to its outposts, the Allied commanders plan to whip out Cassino like an old tooth by the combined strength of their air forces.
March 15th. We turn out everything that flies. The Strategic Air Force, the Tactical Air Force, the Desert Air Force, the Air Support Command. "1,100 tons of bombs fall on their target, and by midday, Casino doesn't seem like it's there anymore."
As we go into Casino, the Germans get up out of the rubble and start fighting back. If it's like this all the way to Berlin, it's going to take a heck of a time.
May the 18th. Casino, outflanked and isolated, is finally captured by Polish troops. The remnants of the 1st German Paratroop Division surrender. This is the Italian spring in the year of grace and glory, 1944. Spring and Operation Strangle. With cannon, machine gun, and rocket, hundreds of fighter sorties cut across the enemy's supply lines. The air is ours, and we know how to use it.
So this is what a country looks like when it's been bombed and shelled and mined and fought across. This is the trail of war leading into Europe.
Now we send in our tanks and guns and infantry. This time we break through along the road to Rome. Now it is the end of May. The rivers have shrunk to streams, and the sun smiles upon the crumbled earth. The war moves on towards Rome. Allied bombardment from air and ground has shattered the towns and villages that now lie deserted and silent, empty as the Axis hopes that have died here in Italy. June the 14th, 1944. The Allies enter the Holy City, the open city, the liberated city, Rome.
These Romans kill me. You knock the bottom out of their country and they get right up out of the rubble and give you the big hello. And you know, it's a very funny thing. You can talk to them all and you don't find one who was ever a fascist.
Rome has known many armies, many invasions and liberations. It changes hands, that does not change her heart. The heart of Rome now is in St. Peter's Square outside the Vatican. Into the great piazza before St. Peter's Church crowd the religious and the irreligious of all the continents of the world. Here, standing on a balcony above the great tapestry of the crossed keys, the Pope will give thanks to God for the deliverance of the city.
Two days after reaching Rome, we hear about the D-Day landings in Normandy. The war has moved on to France. Here in Italy, we've got what we wanted to get, and now we're moving on too.
A large striking force is leaving Italy. Aircraft carriers of the Royal Navy, British and American warships and landing craft, American assault troops,